Adjunct Professor Moran, Microeconomics 112. We just reviewed supply. Supply, a willingness and ability of producers to make goods for the market. The law of supply, a direct relationship between price and quantity supplied. A change in quantity supplied results only from a change in price. A shift in supply, which results from the acronym rotten weather, resource costs, other considerations, taxes, technology, expectations, number of producers, and weather. Now that we have a review of this, we can add the concept of producer surplus. Producer surplus is the amount a seller is paid minus the seller's cost. An approximation of producer surplus can be shown graphically as the area below equilibrium price but above the supply curve. Redraw the first supply curve from 12.2 on 12.5. If the price for all the quantities sold is established at 30 cents, shade the area below 30 cents down to the supply curve. This is the area producer surplus. Okay, 30 cents. This would be the producer's surplus. No producers are willing to produce at a price lower than 15 cents according to our supply schedule, which is on the front of the handout. Only prices above 15 cents will result in producers supplying to the market. If the equilibrium price increases, then the shaded area will decrease. I'm sorry. If the equilibrium price increases, this 30 goes to 35, these producers will now also receive a surplus. If it goes to 40, these producers will now receive a surplus. So as the price increases, the producer surplus will increase at the expense of consumers. If the equilibrium price decreases, then the producer surplus decreases because these producers are crowded out of the market. They will no longer be willing and able to produce at that price. Continue to use the supply curve. Assume that the selling price is established at 25 cents. Now, the idea here is that there are producers who are willing and able to produce at a lower than equilibrium price, but they won't have to sell at the price they're willing and able to sell. They can sell in a purely competitive market all they want at the equilibrium price. So they receive an extra something, which is called the producer surplus. So we're going to assume the equilibrium price has fallen to 25 cents. So we're going to try to approximate the area of this rectangle, which can correctly be done by using 1/2 base times height. But what we're trying to show by doing it with areas of rectangles is that there are discrete amounts for each price point, which represents a different supplier at a different cost ability to produce to the market. So let's go ahead and try this. Let's assume the market price is 25 cents. All producers can sell at 25 cents, regardless of how able they are. So let's take the first one, 25 cents. 25 minus 25 is 0. But there are some producers who are willing and able to produce the market at 20 cents, and some who are willing and able to supply at 15 cents. At a dime, no one was willing and able to supply to the market. People who are willing and able to produce at 20 but can sell at 25 cents receive a producer surplus of a nickel. People who are willing and able to produce at 15 cents but don't have to because they can sell as much as they want at the market price of 25 receive a surplus of a dime. Now that we know the surplus per unit, we have to figure out on how many units do they receive this surplus, the quantity. Well, at 25 cents, the total quantity supplied is 200. But people who are willing and able to produce at 25 are not responsible for all 200 supplied. People who are willing and able to produce at 20 cents and 25 cents are responsible for 100. People who are willing and able to produce at 25 cents are responsible for 200, but 20 and 15 cent people are responsible for 150. So that gives them a surplus of 0 cents on 50 units. People who produce at 20 cents, in total, the quantity supplied is 150, but they're not responsible for the entire 150 because producers who are willing and able to produce at 15 cents are responsible for 100. People who are able to produce at 15 cents supply a quantity of 100 from zero. So, 0 cents surplus per unit times 50 gives us a surplus of 0. 20 cent producers receive a surplus of a nickel per unit on 50 units, and that's 250. People who are 15 cent producers receive a surplus of a dime on 100 units, and they receive in total a surplus of $10, which gives us a producer surplus of $12.50. If the price rises, you can calculate this using the same technique, but the price will be up here, and you'll see that you'll add this area to the producer surplus. So the higher the price, the larger the shaded area is, and the greater the producer surplus.